Libra, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of January. So before I jump into the energy of the month, this is most applicable for your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. This is how other people perceive you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. And the way this video is structured, I'm going to take it week by week, and a week being Sunday to Saturday. So the beginning of the month is going to be a partial week, end of the month, partial week, but really trying to show you how the energy ebbs and flows. And I'm focused on the significant changes. Like we have Venus entering the sign of Pisces. I'll focus on there, but then there's other major transits that happen along the way too that I'm going to highlight so that there aren't these big gaps in between, so you kind of understand how the energy is evolving in between these major transits. And really it's almost a daily type of reading here. So looking at that first week from Wednesday the 1st to Saturday the 4th, we do have Venus enter the sign of Pisces on Thursday the 2nd at 10:24 p.m. Eastern Time. For you, Pisces rules your house of daily routines. So think of all the things that you do on a regular basis. This would be your work, your home life, any kind of extracurricular activities that you do, anything that you just is kind of built into your normal routine. With Venus entering this house, it's really highlighting what you love and value about this structure, or maybe it's the lack of structure that you love, but there's something about your life that you do get a lot of pleasure out of. That's the Venus energy, focusing on that. Venus, when it enters the sign of Pisces, will also conjunct the moon in Aquarius. The moon in Aquarius is sitting in your 5th house of fun. So when you think about your daily life, do you have children? What kind of role, or maybe how much time do you spend with them in your life? What kind of interaction do you have with them? Because it's not just about where is your time spent, it's that kind of involvement in your life and where do you get the most meaning. That's what that Venus is really highlighting. And because of the moon in Aquarius, it's okay, well, I feel really good about the kids that I have or the hobbies that I do in my spare time here. So whatever it is, this is a really positive transit because that 5th house really just embodies anything that you enjoy doing for fun, including short-term relationships if that's your thing. But you know, it's there. And so there's something that you really love and value about your life because it gives you these opportunities, makes you feel good about this other area that you just enjoy doing, your hobbies, children, things like that. Venus will square Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which is the only challenge, and it's really it's one you can work through. You would just have to put the effort in. So what you love and value about your daily life, your daily routines, it is creating some sort of challenge to whatever transformation is happening inside you. And it's more of, I'm focused on the things that I love. I don't want to get rid of those. And that's going to be different than any kind of change that is taking place. On Friday the 3rd, we'll have Mars retrograde in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so the way that this is impacting you, Mars retrograde in Leo is sitting in your 11th house. This is your house of friends. And it's not those individual relationships, it's the collective. So the community around you, the people that you choose to be around, that's that 11th house energy. And so you might be holding back, not taking some sort of action, maybe pausing before you take any kind of action here with your friends. That's going to be opposite any changes that are happening in that house of fun. So that Pluto in Aquarius, this is going to feel very familiar and kind of get used to the uncomfortableness of it because it's a very liberating energy. You might be shaking things free. You might be going through a death and a rebirth as it relates to your hobbies and what do you enjoy doing in your spare time and really looking for something in that realm. That's going to be opposite withholding some sort of action as it relates to your friends or taking some sort of interaction here. And so if part of your free time involves hanging out with your friends and that's what you really enjoy doing, I can see where the opposition is because you're not taking any kind of action in that area. And then on Saturday the 4th, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn sextile Saturn in Pisces. The Sun in Capricorn indicates that you're coming across as very ambitious, very driven. For you, this is sitting in your home environment. So there's something about the way that you're expressing yourself at home. You might have goals that you're trying to implement, something here that you feel good, solid, stable, kind of setting yourself up for long-term success. That's the way that you're coming across. That's actually going to create an opportunity for you to really focus on what do you want to do in your daily life? What does your ideal daily life structure, what does that look like? How do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your time? And so The way that you're expressing yourself at home, it is creating an opportunity. This is one that you would have to seize, but it is right there. And then the next week, we have a couple more major transits taking place. So between Sunday the 5th and Saturday the 11th, on Monday, January 6th at 5:44 in the morning Eastern Time, we'll have Mars retrograde into Cancer. And so Mars was in Cancer. Think back to kind of passive-aggressive communication, expression of your feelings, things like that. Mars moved into Leo, stationed retrograde, now it's back in Cancer. So it's going to be a little bit different this time around. It's more, I'm definitely getting a reflection type of energy. So there's something, you are looking inward. I'm getting intuitive hits while I'm doing your astrology reading, but for you, it is sitting in your 10th house of career and public reputation with an extra emphasis on public reputation. There's something where you're withholding taking some sort of action, or you're seeing yourself differently. You're taking some sort of action inside as it relates to your career. And so there's things that you're definitely keeping to yourself as far as maybe the way that you feel about something. That might be out of character for you, but it feels like it's more than that. It's deeper than that. There's something about this that feels like it's striking at the core of who you are and the way that you saw maybe your relationship with money or your relationship with work. I'm going to keep going because that's all intuitive hits, and that's actually not showing up in the astrology, not in that way. So when Mars enters Cancer, so Mars retrograde in Cancer, there is a trine to the moon in Aries. And so if you are involved in a long-term relationship, so think of a marriage partner, significant other, maybe a live-in partner, somebody like that, keeping your feelings to yourself at work or not taking some sort of action at work easily flows with how you feel about your partner, that relationship, all of it. There's also a trine to Neptune and Pisces. And so withholding some sort of action, keeping your feelings to yourself, that's going to easily flow with whatever daily life or daily routines that you want here. Mars retrograde will be opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so again, going back to anything that you enjoy doing for fun, anything outside of work, that's going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself or not taking some sort of action at work. But you can kind of see why there, because you've got one that's really focused on work, and then you've got one that's really focused on what you enjoy doing outside of work. That's the opposition. So it's more of one or the other. So you can find a way to work with that energy if you want to. And then the same day, so also on Monday the 6th, we'll have Mercury in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces. And so Mercury and Sagittarius, I mean, these are very high level, optimistic, honest type of conversations, might be very direct and blunt. It's sitting in your third house of communication. So there might be something that I'm getting like a dawn, like a realization of something. Something is going to click into place, because Mercury is not just about the words that you speak or the way that you say them. It's about the way that you understand and perceive other people, other situations. That's all Mercury energy. And in fact, it's the third house energy too. So really, really emphasizing that. Mercury will square Neptune and Pisces. And so when you think about things, quite literally, thinking about things, communicating things, it's going to create obstacles and challenges to focusing on what kind of daily life do you want. But it's more of that Neptune and Pisces is very ethereal, kind of dreamlike atmosphere, whereas Mercury and Sagittarius is more concerned about communication, not being in your head, really saying something here out loud, or processing something different here. It's not about that dreamlike state. It's something more tangible, something different here. And then on the 8th, so Wednesday the 8th at 5:30 in the morning Eastern Time, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Capricorn. And so now Mercury in Capricorn is in your 4th house. And so think about all those conversations at home, the way that you're expressing yourself. You might be really driven and goal-oriented to do something at home, start some sort of project, or keep going with some sort of project here. There is a trine to Moon in Taurus. And so whatever you're doing, whatever conversations you're having at home, they're easily going to flow with whatever changes are happening here. Could be connected to money too. So you might be doing a home project, and that flows with how you feel about maybe the money that you earn. Like you make enough to be able to afford doing this project or putting this plan into place as it relates to your home. And that Mercury in Capricorn can really be anything. But when I see it with that 8th house, This could be about moving. This could be about buying a place or renovating. That costs money, doing some sort of expansion on your house. And so there's something about this that could be highlighted for you at this time. Mercury will also sextile Venus in Pisces. And so these conversations, these kind of goal-oriented, driven, let's put a plan into place conversations at home, they're creating an opportunity to focus on what you love about your daily life. And so really it's about emphasizing that more. And with that 8th house energy showing up with the moon in Taurus, there might be changes that are taking place that allow you to embrace more of what you love in your regular life, in your daily life. And so it's about making room for this in your life. Mercury will square Neptune in Pisces. And so these conversations are creating obstacles and challenges to maybe thinking about the life that you want, or daydreaming. That's probably the better word, daydreaming about the life that you want. And so it's more of, you're really trying to ground something here in reality. You're trying to make something a reality in general. And so, because that's what Capricorn wants to do, it wants to make it tangible. And so that's the obstacle and challenge here. But you can certainly work with that one. And then also on the 8th, so Wednesday the 8th, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. And so what this means is all those conversations that you're having at home, the way that you're expressing yourself, really kind of goal-oriented, ambitious, and driven to get something into place, setting yourself up for long term, that's going to make it really difficult to heal some sort of wound connected to relationships. It's more of right time, right place, and this doesn't feel like it's either one. It's more the emphasis is on doing something connected to your home environment as opposed to healing this wound. And then at the end of the week, I'm highlighting it here, and I'll talk through it throughout the year as it comes up, but we officially start the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle on Saturday the 11th. Jumping into the next week, we only have one major transit happening here, but it's a big one. So between Sunday the 12th and Saturday the 18th, we do have the full moon in Cancer. But before we get there, on Sunday the 12th, we'll have Mars retrograde in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces. And so whatever feelings you're keeping to yourself at your work, not taking some sort of action at your work, or taking some sort of internal action instead of something outward at work, that's going to easily flow with you daydreaming about the life that you want. There's something that's really harmonious and congruent about these two energies. And so there's something about just taking a pause when it comes to work, doing something here that's a little bit differently, not acting impulsively by any stretch. If it's maybe even giving yourself, give yourself an hour, cool off for a minute before you respond to somebody, before you respond to that nasty email or that person's tone of voice. We've all been there, and we all want to kind of jump down their throat, but there's something where withholding all of that right now is really in your best interest. On Monday the 13th, we will have the Sun in Capricorn trine Uranus in Taurus. And so Uranus is retrograde in the sign of Taurus. So this does indicate that there's a lot of inner change that's taking place, sudden change. You might be getting a lot of downloads and just sudden realizations about things like, oh, that's what that means. Okay, that's the Uranus retrograde in Taurus. With the Sun in Capricorn, whatever conversations or the way that you're expressing yourself at home, really focused on long term at home, that's going to easily blend with whatever internal changes are happening here. So there's something that you're letting go of. It feels a lot like you're letting go of things to make room to do more of what you love and what you value. And then later that same day, we do have the full moon in Cancer, and this one, there's a lot happening during this full moon. For you, we've got the Sun in your 4th house. We've got the moon in your 10th house. So this is a lot of work-life balance. The way that you're expressing yourself at work coming across as very ambitious and driven and goal-oriented versus the way that you feel in your career. They're very, very different. I don't know if I said that right. The Sun in Capricorn is in your 4th house. I think I did. I'm second guessing myself, but regardless, the way that you're expressing yourself at home is different than the way that you feel at work. There is a push-pull that's happening here, but it's not just between the Sun and the moon, because we still have Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. And so withholding some sort of action, keeping your feelings to yourself, not speaking up, not doing something that maybe you would normally do at work is going to be opposite the way that you're expressing yourself at home. So there's something just you're not coming across as, trying to find the right words here, because it feels like how you're coming across at home is how you want to be coming across at work, but at the same time, it feels like there's a lot of politics that might be in play here at work, and so it's about biting your tongue, holding back, not saying exactly what it is that you're thinking or feeling. And because we have the sun opposite those two planets are actually in a conjunction with each other. So how you feel about your work fully lines up with you keeping your feelings to yourself, not saying something out loud or taking some sort of action here. And then we'll have the sun trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so again, going back to your home life and the way that you're expressing yourself, that's going to easily flow with whatever internal changes are taking place, because that Uranus retrograde is sitting in a house of transformation. It's that death and rebirth. We'll have the moon in Cancer sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so it might be about more than just the transformation. This might be connected to the money that you earn. So how you feel about your career gives you an opportunity to focus on maybe making changes to your income or doing something different with your income, because that 8th house energy, it is about your spouse's income, the money that you earn, inheritance. It could be the money that you pay out towards your debt, things like that. Home environment is showing up here in that way too. So it could be the money that you make at work, the money that you pay for a mortgage or rent or something along those lines could also be highlighted during this full moon, because that's how this is all really playing out. You have a lot of strong energy with that 8th house, or it could just be change in general, because it's death and rebirth in that house. The sun will sextile Neptune in Pisces during this full moon. And so again, the way that you're expressing yourself at home creates an opportunity for you to daydream about the life that you want here. How you feel about your career easily blends, easily flows with that ideal life, and really focusing on that. So I like whatever is happening in your work environment does seem to be in your best interest. And then we have the sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so there could be something connected to children here, because we're talking about your home environment, the way that you're expressing yourself, really thinking long-term, establishing some sort of goals here that completely blends with whatever changes are happening in that house of fun. So that would be around children, if you have them, if you want them. It could be your hobbies. If you're not in like a long-term relationship or married or committed to somebody in that way, it could be those short-term relationships too. And so there's something that is changing in that house, those areas of your life. And it's just the way that this is all playing out, because the way you're expressing yourself fully aligns with whatever those changes are that are taking place. The moon in Cancer will be opposite that Pluto in Aquarius. So the way that you feel about work, completely opposite to the changes that are taking place as it relates to children, your passion projects, hobbies, short-term relationships, things like that. And then we have both the sun and moon form a T-square to Chiron in Aries. And so the way that you're expressing yourself at home, the way that you feel about your career, they're both independently creating obstacles and challenges to healing some sort of relationship wound. So it might be that you're not in a long-term relationship, or maybe you're not ready to be in a long-term relationship and you're really focused on these other areas of your life and really doing something on your own at this time. Because whatever this wound is, it's been coming to the surface. It's definitely something you can work with. You would just have to find a way to work with the energy, because it is similar to a Saturn type of energy. And then we have the moon in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. And so thinking about, how do you feel about your job? How do you feel about your career? Because that's going to easily blend with working on your ideal life. And so when you think about what does your daily life look like, what do you want it to look like? This is really, it's a blend of energy. You're not going to have to put any effort or any additional energy into this. So during the full moon, I'm seeing a lot of work, obviously, home, a lot of change and transformation that's taking place. Could be connected to the finances, definitely connected to your daily life. And so there's a lot here that's taking place. So pretty significant full moon for you. And then on Tuesday the 14th, we'll have Venus in Pisces square Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So On this day, it's more of, okay, what do I love and value about my life? That's going to create obstacles and challenges to any kind of inner growth that I'm looking for. Because I'm holding on to something, I'm not really trying to grow and expand something, and that's where that challenge comes into play. On Wednesday the 15th, we'll have the Sun opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. We saw this during the full moon. It's just becoming more exact now. So again, the way that you're expressing yourself at home, being very goal-oriented, things like that, it's creating obstacles and challenges to holding back at work, not saying something, not expressing how you feel or taking some sort of action, maybe directing all that energy inward and just, again, bottling it up, keeping it to yourself. It's going to be opposite. On Friday the 17th, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so this ambitious kind of self-expression at home, being very driven and motivated and goal-oriented here, it's creating an opportunity for you to really daydream about the life that you want. There's something that the more that you get into the weeds on this, the more details that you kind of plan out for yourself, the better it feels, the more in alignment with this entire plan you feel. And then on Saturday the 18th, we've got Venus in Pisces conjunct Saturn in Pisces. And so the plans that you were thinking about the day before, kind of building the life that you want, really daydreaming about what could this look like, literally the next day, it's okay, let's work on what we love and value about that. How do we make that more permanent, more stable, do something more with that energy? And then the next week, so from Sunday the 19th to Saturday the 25th, we have one major transit taking place. It's on Sunday, but before we get to that one, we have Mercury in Capricorn will sextile both Saturn and Venus in the sign of Pisces. And so there might be conversations around what kind of life do you want to live? What do you love and value about your life? Working on just, this is what I want it to look like on a regular basis. This is what I want. And so I like how it's all playing out, because we're looking at really the entire weekend of just feeling really good about the direction that your life is headed. And then later in the day on Sunday, the 19th at 3 o'clock Eastern time, we'll have the Sun enter the sign of Aquarius. And so this is sitting in your 5th house. So again, think about all the things that you enjoy doing outside of work. We've got the Sun there, so the way that you're expressing yourself, you might be coming across as just different than how you normally are. You might be using art as a medium of expression, or finding different out-of-the-box ways of expressing yourself, because that's that Aquarius energy. It's a very liberating type of energy. You might feel free to express yourself in a way that you just never felt like you could before. That would also be because of Pluto in Aquarius. And so the Sun is conjunct Pluto when the Sun enters into Aquarius. And so it fully aligns with whatever changes are taking place in this house. There's also a trine to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. More change that's taking place. So the way that you're expressing yourself easily flows with the internal changes happening to you. We'll have the Sun trine Moon in Libra. And so this is where you feel really good about yourself and feel like you're just you, that you're kind of more authentic now than maybe you have been in quite some time, that you're coming across as very honest and sincere in your approach, because you feel like you can speak your mind. You're not limited by any kind of construct here. I like that. We will have the Sun sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so this kind of liberating self-expression here, it's going to create an opportunity for you to really daydream about the life that you want to live here. And then we do have one challenging aspect. So the Sun will be opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And this just means because you're feeling so liberated and you're expressing yourself differently, that's going to be opposite to not expressing yourself at work, keeping your feelings to yourself, not taking some sort of action there. That's the opposition. One is about, yes, I feel free to express myself, and one is, no, I do not. And then on Tuesday the 21st, we have a couple of things happening here. The first one is Mercury in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. And so these kind of goal-oriented, future-oriented conversations that you're having at home, they're going to create obstacles and challenges to healing some sort of relationship wound. And so whether it's you don't feel like what you want you, or whatever this wound is, whatever this relationship wound is. It's a commitment type of wound here. And so it's going to create obstacles and challenges because there's something that you're focused on in your home environment versus addressing this wound here. And then we will have the Sun in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So we saw it a couple of days before when the Sun entered Aquarius. Now the two are becoming exact. And so the energy is just going to be building over these few days where the way that you're expressing yourself fully aligns with the changes that are happening. You're going to feel very liberated, like you're free to express yourself and say whatever it is that you're thinking, just not at work. You're able to do this in relation to the things that you enjoy doing, just not at work. And then on Thursday, the 23rd, we have a few things happening here as well. So the first one is Mars retrograde in Cancer will sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so keeping your feelings to yourself, not taking some sort of action at work, creates an opportunity for more changes to take place. Now, this could be connected to the money that you earn. These are more internal changes, so there might be a way that you see that money, the way that you perceive your value as it relates to work. It's creating an opportunity here. It's one that you would have to take advantage of. Also on Thursday, the 23rd, we'll have Mercury in Capricorn opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so these kind of goal-oriented conversations, these long-term plans that you're setting up in your home environment or connected to your home life in some way, they're going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself. We've actually seen this show up a few times now, but it's that I'm free to express myself at home, but not at work. And I'm free to do something liberating and different at home, but at work, I'm suppressing it or maybe pausing before I do anything here, not taking some sort of action. And then we have Mercury in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so these kind of goal-oriented conversations at home, they're easily going to flow with whatever changes are taking place. And so again, could be related to money. This does feel like it's more of that death and rebirth energy. It's getting rid of things. Part of the reason that you may have felt before that you needed to speak up at work or immediately respond to something at work was because of your perception of the situation. That might be changing during this time, because I'm definitely getting a sense of you just giving it a minute to take that pause before you say anything, before you do anything, is going to give you a whole different viewpoint than you probably would have seen before. And so this is where it feels like it's really in your best interest to kind of listen to your instincts. If your instinct says don't speak up, then don't. And so on Saturday, the 25th, we'll have Venus trine Mars retrograde in Cancer. A lot of Mars retrograde this month. Here, what you love and value about your daily life easily blends with you biting your tongue at work, keeping your feelings to yourself, not taking some sort of action there. And then coming to the last week of the month here, so from Sunday the 26th to Friday the 31st, we have 3 major transits happening here, so I'll get into them here in just a second. On Sunday the 26th, we have a couple different things happening before we start getting into the really significant ones. We'll have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so these conversations that you're having at home, they're creating an opportunity for you to really focus on what kind of life do you want to live. When you think about and daydream about this life, what does it look like? And then how do these conversations kind of help you maybe dream a little bit bigger, go after something a little bit more, daydream about it. Also on Sunday, we'll have Venus in Pisces, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so what you love and value about your daily life here, it's creating an opportunity for more internal change to take place. And then on on Monday the 27th at 9:53 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Aquarius. And so this is the first of the 3 really big transits this week. Mercury entering the sign of Aquarius. There's a lot of Aquarius energy at the end of this month. Really think about and kind of embrace all the liberation, all of the release that is going to be taking place here, because Mercury in Aquarius, the conversations that you're going to be having are going to feel very liberating. They're going to be very different than what you're used to. They might be around children, your passion projects, hobbies, short-term relationships, any topic, anything that you enjoy doing outside of work for fun. You might be going about things in a very unconventional way, something that maybe you just never really thought you could do before, and now you're being given an opportunity and you're embracing it. You're definitely embracing it because we've got Mercury conjunct the sun. So that fully aligns with the way that you want to express yourself and the way that you are expressing yourself. It's going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So all those changes that are taking place fully line up with the way that you're communicating right now, and even the way that you're understanding everything right now. Mercury is also conjunct the moon. And so the moon is in Capricorn in your 4th house of home. And so these liberating conversations that you're having also fully blend with how you feel about your home environment. We're getting a lot of that back and forth between these two energies. So whatever is taking shape relative to your home, it feels a lot like you're setting yourself up for long term. And then we have Mercury trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so these conversations are really easily flowing with all the other changes that are taking place, because it's not just about the Pluto in Aquarius, that Uranus retrograde in Taurus sitting in a house of transformation, very similar energy. And so it's going to easily flow. There's a lot of freeing, liberating type of energy happening towards the end of January. Mercury will also sextile Venus in Pisces. It'll sextile Venus and it also sextiles Neptune. And so when you think about your ideal life, what do you love and value about it? And what do you when you think about the sky's the limit, what is it that you really want to accomplish there? Because all this kind of breaking free from limitations and restrictions and doing things differently, it's really opening up a lot of opportunities for you, a lot of internal opportunities, because you're seeing things differently, you're approaching things differently, and that's opening your eyes up and it's showing you everything that's around you. We will have Mercury opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so again, when you think about all this liberation that's taking place in everything that you enjoy doing for fun outside of work, that's going to be opposite, keeping your feelings to yourself at work, not taking some sort of action there. We've been dealing with this pretty much all month, so it should feel pretty familiar to you at this point. And then on Wednesday, the 29th at 7:36 in the morning Eastern time, we have the new moon in Aquarius. And so this one here, pretty significant. So talk about liberation. All this stuff, like all these kind of restrictions and limitations are being removed. We've got the way that you're expressing yourself, the way that you feel about these changes, because it's not just the sun and the moon here. We've got Pluto in the mix. We've got Mercury. They're all sitting in Aquarius. They're all in a conjunction with each other. So the way that you understand all of this change that's taking place, the way that you feel about it all, the way that you're expressing and communicating everything here, all fully aligns. You're on board with all of it. And it's not even just that. We've got the sun and moon trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is sitting in your 9th house of growth and expansion. And so all of these changes that are taking place, what it's doing is it's opening you up to grow and expand in different ways. Think outside the box, try something new, try something different here, because that Aquarius energy does not like rules. It is a rebel and it wants you to do something very unconventional that could really help you grow and expand. This would be inner growth and expansion. So I like how this is showing up for you. Later that same day, we'll have Mercury and Pluto form an exact conjunction. So it's really more of the same energy all day. So it's kind of, you can see it here from the 27th to the 29th. There is a lot of Aquarius energy, a lot of liberating, freeing yourself. But it's not the only change. So on Thursday the 30th at 11:22 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Uranus stationed direct in the sign of Taurus. So Uranus is that planet of transformation. It's another one. This one is that sudden change. In tarot, it's the Tower card. It is sitting in your house of transformation. So there might be sudden changes that are taking place related to that death and rebirth. So that total transformation. There could be something here connected to the money that you earn, because when Uranus does station direct, it's creating an opportunity for you to keep your feelings to yourself at work, withhold some sort of action here in your work environment. It's also creating an opportunity for you to really focus on what you love and value about your life, work on that more. And so when you think about how all this energy is playing into just every single day and how it's kind of expanding and growing, You're breaking free from limitations and restrictions, but it's to give you an opportunity to make room for something else. It's something else is going to fill that void, and it looks like that something else is more in alignment with what you want, what you value. The only challenging one here would be Uranus square the moon in Aquarius. And so when it comes to how you feel about children or how you feel about your hobbies, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to work with this energy right now because there are obstacles and challenges, but it is something that you could work with. And then later that same day, we'll have the Sun in Aquarius trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so again, with the way that you're expressing yourself, feeling very liberated and very open and maybe expressing yourself in unconventional ways, that's going to easily flow with whatever internal growth that you're going for. So Libra, this is your month is shaping up to be a really good one. The theme is really maybe just keep your feelings to yourself at work, if I had to sum it up, and kind of be open to change. So this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.